You know, after we got very serious and academic last week, I think it's time to reel things back in a bit. It's time to get things back on our brand.
This is very specifically our brand.
This is very much our brand. Hashtag our brand. Oh, boy. Hello, welcome. I cut you off and I didn't mean to.
It's okay, go ahead.
Okay. This is episode 73 of the Seasonal Anime Checkup OVA. It's a podcast where we have conversations about video games, anime, and manga. Hello. I'm Jared, joined by Dr. Anne Ladyem. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello. Oh, we should just call me Dr. Al from now on. That sounds awesome.
Dr. Al.
I don't
Doc
know.
Al.
Doc Al, there we go. I'm like gonna take us to the past.
Or you're like a television doctor now.
I'll pass on that one.
Don't want to be that, no.
Mm-mm.
Good thing you're an internet doctor, because you're on the internet.
I'm a video games doctor.
There you go.
Yeah.
Gonna heal all those video games.
Some of them need it.
So yeah, if you listened last week, that is confirmation that Al passed her dissertation defense.
Yay.
Still extremely happy for you and proud of you because you did all that super hard work and basically almost killed yourself trying to do it.
No kidding.
You got through it. You went up there with like the swagger and confidence that I don't know where it came from, but you had it, and and we're just like, hey, this is my stuff. Deal with it.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. If there was a mic there, you could have dropped it.
If I had sunglasses, they would have fallen on my face.
But yeah, good job. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You very much deserve it.
It was tough.
And if you want to watch that, it's on your site, isn't it?
It is.
AnneLadyem.com. So you can watch the hour and 45-ish minutes of that.
Hour and 38 minutes.
I was being generous. So there you go. Al's the doc.
Finger guns.
But you might be a doctor now.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure we've always known that you're the doctor of otome.
That is true.
Because we have two games on the docket today that we're going to talk about that are probably, somewhat opposite of each other. Somewhat. We will be talking about whatever your game title is, because I don't remember it.
Psychedelica of the Black Butterfly.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
And we will be returning to the main streets of Tokyo and Hiroshima, as I'm going to tell you about the rest of Yakuza 6, since that's actually out now.
Yes, it is.
So we never decided on this beforehand on who's going to go first or not, but
I have no preference, so it's really up to you, my friendo.
let's flip a coin.
All right, flip it.
All right, we're going to flip the Breath of the Wild Collector's Edition coin.
Okay.
The Sheikah symbol is heads, the Z is tails.
Okay, I'm going to pick Z.
Okay. It's Z.
All right, well, I guess we're going with Psychedelica of the Black Butterfly.
I was going to say, you can either choose to go first or defer, but if you want to go first, you are more than welcome to.
So anyway, Psychedelica of the Black Butterfly, which is an otome.
Yep.
Yeah, and you said that it originally came out in 2015 in Japan.
Like January 2015, I think. I don't remember the exact date, but yeah.
Yeah, and so it came out the day of my defense, so April 27th of this year. And I played it in like a day, I think, this weekend. I think if you pushed all the hours together, it would essentially add up to a day.
Yeah, because you flew through it. I think you played some of it Saturday.
Yeah.
A little bit, and then Sunday into Monday. Sunday all the way up through Monday, early Monday morning.
I finished around 6 in the morning, yeah.
Because that's what you would do.
I don't have responsibilities anymore, actually, that's a lie. But still.
You technically still do, but not super duper ones. Well,
Yeah, utter lie.
You just have to go and show up for presentations. That's it.
It would, yeah, and grade and turn in my dissertation. But anyway, um, I had time and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna otome because that's what I do best.
You're gonna treat yourself.
Yeah. And so Psychedelica the Black Butterfly is different than most otomes that I've played because it has a flowchart system. So like if you've ever played like Virtue's Last Reward,
Mm-hmm.
which I know you have, but I don't know if they have. But it has the same kind of like weird flowchart, and I've never seen that in an otome before. It was fascinating, but it really doesn't focus on romance all that much. Just interesting, but so essentially what happens is Protag, who is insanely grating as a human being, um she's in this manor and is completely incompetent at pretty much everything. And she can't remember who she is, and she's saved by this guy in black and red with a cape.
Never heard of
uh,
anyone in black and red with a cape before.
yeah, amazing. And there are these monsters that are trying to attack everybody, and those two are told, okay, you have to complete the kaleidoscope and kill these monsters to get the crystals that will do that.
Did you say a
And
kaleidoscope?
a kaleidoscope.
Okay.
So then it turns out that you are trapped in this manor with a bunch of eligible bachelors, I guess. And I will tell you right now, I don't remember their names, and I won't remember their names because each guy has two names. And
As
that,
you do.
yeah, I'm bad enough with video game characters' names in the first place. So I just went by their colors. And so there's blue guy, and there's green guy, and there's red guy, and there's yellow guy, and then there's Fox, which Fox is not a color, but he it's better to call him Fox because he wears a fox mask than call him the white guy.
Whoa, a white guy.
Wow. So those are
Thanks,
your
Junpei.
data. Those are your data pulls. Are the colors. And so yeah, the entire gist of it is that nobody has their memories, and so they pick names based off of they're given these rooms and they have names on the door plates. So they're like, well, I guess we'll just go by this name. And
What
the
if it
more
was
that
just like names of rooms in general, like, oh hey guys, what's up? It's me, dining room.
that would have been way funny.
Hey, what's up? It's me, sitting room.
I'm bathroom. How are you?
It's me. It's the closet.
So essentially, what they're told is that they have to collect these kaleidoscope shards in order to escape, and that they have essentially died. They're mostly dead, and that in order to come back to life, they have to finish the kaleidoscope, and that they can wish basically to come back. Which reminds me somewhat of Bad Apple Wars, because they also had that. Excuse you. They also had that like almost dead story bit there.
Yeah. Someone is going to town.
That's Max.
Yeah.
Yes, to let us know that he is here and present for the podcast.
Yeah. He's very much opinionated.
On otome.
On otome, yeah. He's our secondary otome expert.
I think his favorite was who was your favorite, buddy? We're gonna say Fox was his favorite. So essentially like how the game flows is that you go through the common route and you get like the big story beats. And as you do this, you unlock side stories. And if you pick side stories for each guy, then eventually you can land on their respective ending. And they have an ending for basically like staying in the manor and like maintaining the lack of memories. And then they have like a happy ending. And each of those name is named after like either the name that they're given at the mansion or their actual name.
Right.
Yeah. So the one thing that is bizarre about this game is that there's also like a shooting mini game. Yeah, and you have to get through that shooting mini game in order to unlock the side stories via points.
Right.
And so you have to like lock onto a bunch of butterflies. Wow, it's the title.
I can see the
And
connection.
and shoot them. And the only time that I really, really like enjoyed myself with this was when I was playing with Green because he just yells Ine at you a lot, and that made me happy. Um, the other one's like yell at you for real, and he's like Ine, Ine, and I'm like, you're so nice, thank you. Which, by the way, Green was a sweetheart throughout the entire game.
He's just singing ENA to you.
Yeah, he pretty much. Um, And so, like, you keep going on, and the idea of this game is that there's like this giant mystery of why the heck you're here and what this mansion is. And you have like this little bunny girl who is directing you, and her name is Usagi. Wow, I'm surprised. And she is basically like the second in command to the master. And so you're trying to figure out who the mastermind is. And you're trying to find the kaleidoscope parts. You're trying to figure out who the heck you are, because you get text messages throughout that are like supposed to give you hints as to what's going on. Which there's a gag about cell phones at the very beginning that gets real dark once you get through the story, and it made me really, really sad. So there's really not a whole lot to say in terms of like the endings themselves without going into like the main story beats. Because again, like the side stories are just kind of like getting to know the person. And I will say straight up, red and yellow are trash human beings, like absolute hot garbage. Green and fox are fantastic, and I love them to death. They're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. And then blue, actually, he grew on me. I didn't like him at first, and then like once I got through his story, I'm like, you know what? You're not bad.
So we have like good tier, middle, and then just tier.
Absolute yes. So you start realizing throughout while you're playing it that everybody in this group, they knew each other beforehand. They were all childhood friends, and they're like, well, why are we here then? Like, what the heck? There's an outsider, and they're all freaking out because the fox is not one of their childhood friends, which we'll get into that in a minute. And they start getting flashbacks, and they start getting stories of like they were at summer camp, and the protagonist decided that they needed to go explore by the lake, which the lake was forbidden. And they see this giant manor, and they go and cross like the like natural bridge to get to the manor, and they're exploring through it, and they all pick up shards that the protagonist says that when you hold it up to the light, it kind of looks like a kaleidoscope. So each guy and the protagonist picks up a shard, and it should be mentioned that one of the guys, who is the younger twin of one of the groups, but anyway, he falls and hurts his leg, and the protagonist bandages his knee, and she uses a ribbon that her mom gave her when she died. And so he's basically like, I have to give you this ribbon back. Like, I appreciate you doing this, but I have to give it back to you. And keep in mind they're like 8 years old at this point, so everything's
it's very mature for that age.
Yeah. And she's already told like one of these guys that she's gonna marry him when they get older. Which like a marriage proposal at age 8 is pretty serious.
It's very legally binding.
There are rings involved made out of clover.
Very legally binding.
Yeah, both of them have them. And so Anyway, it starts raining and they realize like, oh crap, our land bridge is disappearing. We should probably, go back. And so they start crossing back, and then the one guy realizes like, oh no, I lost the ribbon.
Whoops.
And so he goes back, and then Green follows with, and so does protagonist. And the other guys stay at the bank and wait. And so they find the ribbon and they're crossing back, and the youngest one gets swept away, and then the protagonist grabs his hand, and so she falls in, and then Green jumps in after all of them. And so he saves her first, and then he's going back after the youngest guy, and he's able to save him, but he goes into a coma, and then Green dies. He's never found. Like, his body is never found.
He's off living in the wilderness, being raised by wolves.
Probably. So then everybody like drifts apart, or they move away, and it gets real serious and real sad. And you're like, oh my God, Green's been dead this whole time. It's really depressing.
It's a ghost.
Well, sort of, yes. And so it kind of becomes very, very chaotic, because you learn that Blue is the older twin, and that he feels responsible for the coma that his brother is in, which is sort of true, because he was jealous of the fact that the younger twin got the ribbon, so he went to like retie it on his brother, but tied it looser.
Mm-hmm.
And so he felt like it was his fault that he had to go back for the ribbon in the first place, which, yeah, but you were 8, so like not really your fault. But he goes to the hospital every single day for 10 years and talks to his brother, trying to like bring him back from the coma, which is really, really dedication and very sad. And so you find out that protagonist is in high school. Yellow is also in her high school and is very actively pursuing her, and is telling her like, you need to get over Green. He is dead. I'm here. Like,
Jesus.
Right? Like, he's such an and he says this all the time, and he like tries to force himself on her.
Ooh,
Which, like, yeah,
ooh.
he does that at least 3 times. It's really nasty.
Yuck.
But I mean, he keeps getting really, really mad at her that like she can't get past the fact that Green is dead, and they end up bumping into Blue and hanging out with him. And Yellow and Blue butt heads a lot, and they have since they were kids, because Blue kind of like bullied Yellow for a while.
Because you could say they were butt heads.
They were. And so, like, Blue, you realize, like, he's been visiting his brother. He's been trying really hard. He actually got into, like, one of the best schools in their area. And Yellow, like, makes fun of him a lot for that. And like, oh, did you get in on your academics? Did you get in on money? But, like, apparently Blue's really smart. But he again feels responsible. So Yellow starts getting really, really jealous of Blue, because the protag starts hanging out with him and going to the hospital, and like there ends up being a complete and utter fallout. It's bad. And so they finally decide, like, it's the 10th anniversary of when all this went down. Let's go to the lake. We're gonna like drop flowers as a memorial, that kind of thing. So they're on the bus, and apparently it's rainy and gross. And they're driving, well, the bus driver is driving them to the lake, and he falls asleep while driving, and then they crash into the lake. And so with them being in the comas from that, that's what leads them into the mansion in the first place. Like, there's this weird, like, in-between world in the water. Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's fine. So that's how the entire game gets started, essentially, but you don't find that out until very much late in the game. You have to at least unlock one ending before you can get that ending.
Mm-hmm.
So it turns out that Red is the mastermind, and he has stolen the identity and face of the Fox guy, who is actually the twin who has been in the coma for 10 years. And so he's kind of been like in this in
What?
between water area. Yeah. Yeah. But that's why he wears the fox mask, is so he can hide the fact that that's who he is, because he feels like it'll mess everything up if they know that like the mastermind is amongst them. Which in my opinion is dumb. Like, you're trying to figure out who it is, and he's like eating pancakes with you in the morning. But Fox is really dedicated to the cause, I guess. And he ends up starting to stay with him as well, and people are a little suspect because they can't see his face. But he is extremely cuddly, and he's very concerned about being left alone, which it makes sense now that you know that like he's been there for 10 years, like trying to survive this weird manor. And I mean, he went in when he was 8. So, like, 8's a hard time. And then, like, being 8 and trying to fight off monsters is even worse. But the only thing that's really keeping him anchored is the fact that he knows that he has to return the ribbon. He can't remember her name, and he can't remember her face, and he can't remember much of who he is. He can't remember his own name either. But he can remember that he has to return the ribbon. So that's keeping him anchored. And Red kind of loses his shit and fires on everybody. Because, yeah, they're guns. Like I said, there's a shooting game. But, like, everybody can manifest their own gun. And you find out that Green has sort of been working with him in order to get back to life, because, you know, he's in love with the protagonist and he wants to get back to life so that he can marry her. But he doesn't understand to the effect of like how bad Red is. But again, he went in when he was 8.
Right.
So, rational decisions and all. So you find out eventually that what happened is that Red was a very rich merchant's son, and he lived in that manor with his very sick sister. And he was the son. He was the mistress's kid. And they were worried that the girl who was the actual heir was going to die, so they brought him in, and they became very, very close. And the dad is in some mega shady business and ends up losing all of his money. And the boy who eventually becomes Red goes and begs like family members to like please help them out in getting his sister medicine she needs to live. And they say they will. And then the day comes and the medicine doesn't come and his sister dies. And so he becomes obsessed with this whole idea of like resurrection from death. And part of that is the fact that he had been reading with his little sister a picture book that is called Psychedelica of the Black Butterfly. Yeah. And the whole gist of that story is that there are these 2 butterflies who are super pally and they're friends, and one of them dies and is taken to like the afterworld. And so the other butterfly learns that you can go to Psychedelica and see your friend, but the trip is really awful on the butterfly, and it becomes dirty, and essentially it turns black. And so once it gets to Psychedelica and realizes that the butterfly can see its partner again, he's like, they wouldn't recognize me at this point. And so the butterfly leaves and dies in the desert. That's the picture book. And so in this route, you learn that Usagi is actually like a manifestation of his little sister. And she's been trying to like help him get past all this all along. Because what Red ended up doing is like he discovered that there was this in between death and not death, I guess, and that a kaleidoscope could bring you there essentially. And so he travels and does all kinds of shady stuff to get this kaleidoscope. He finds it, he puts it into the lake, and then shoots himself in the head. So the lake itself becomes this entire portal to this psychedelica world. And so like when he shoots himself in the head, he falls in the lake and is the master essentially. And the first time he ever sees Usagi, he loses his mind and freaks out. So she wears the bunny mask in order to protect his sanity. It's real messed up. In some routes, he basically is like shot and dies with green. But in other routes, depending on if you date him or not, essentially, actually in every route he dies. But if you date him in certain routes, he's resurrected with his sister. And so he gets like a renewal and their modern day and all that. So it's meh. He's terrible. But also like he has a lot of like misogynistic behavior.
Right.
And a lot of that is him saying like, I need to be able to protect you. And it stems from like not being able to protect his little sister, but it's still crap. And yellow and blue's routes are essentially, you get out from Psychedelica and everything is status quo. Like green is still dead. Fox is still in a coma, but you either date one or the other, which is fine, but it's kind of generic. Fox is probably my favorite in terms of how his story goes, because he's been there for 10 years and he's been like absorbing the negativity of the black butterflies. And so they keep saying, you're going to lose your control and your humanity soon, and you're going to fall into the abyss, which is essentially hell. And he realizes that the purple ribbon that he's had this whole time has been protecting him. And so he gives it to Protag and says, like, I need you to protect yourself. But then that makes him kind of lose his own grip on humanity. And so he falls in the abyss, and she follows him out into there and is able to like pull him out via the ribbon. And so he wakes up from the coma, and they say a few times in a few of the different routes, like he's been in a coma for 10 years, so he really can't do anything.
Right.
So he has to go through physical therapy. There's 2 routes where he goes through physical therapy, but he's okay. And blue and yellow also wake up at that point. So in his route, everybody that should be alive essentially is alive. If you do the green route, you essentially stay in the manor with green and like succumb to death with him, which is really depressing. But like green was such a sweetheart that I'm like, is this really the worst thing in the world? Also, there's so much man cleavage in this.
Oh, right.
Like, Jesus, nobody knows how to use buttons. Nobody. But yeah, you got to go through like this entire like you get married to green and you have like a very domestic lifestyle, but you're essentially dead. So take the positives or the negatives. There's also like a general ending where again everybody is resurrected except for the people who are supposed to be dead. And so yellow and blue and Fox and Protag all like come back, and they go to the lake. And it's cute because Blue, since he's the older twin, like has Fox on his back, like he's piggybacking him everywhere. And Fox is trying to navigate and realizes that he can't really read a map. Because, I mean, he went in when he was 8. And I don't know how well I read maps when I was 8. And then he's been doing, like, physical therapy and all. So it was cute. But they go and drop a flower because in that ending, the moment that they all come back from the lake, Green's body also reemerges. And so they get like a proper burial for him. So they get kind of a form of closure, I guess, which I don't even want to know how that body looked after 10 years of being under there. Like,
gross. Probably not a lot there.
Probably not. I doubt that there was a whole lot there. So that's considered the best ending. That's actually what it's literally called, is best ending.
Best ending, best value.
But then I think my favorite ending is actually once you find out everything that's happened, you can go back to summer camp and you can, as the protagonist, say like, hey, maybe we should stay in the manor and not cross this bridge and just wait till the adults come and get us. And then nobody goes into comas and nobody dies. And so like they all grow up as friends, and like you see them in high school and they're all studying together. And I mean, I like that one the best.
Fixes everything.
It does. I mean, like, what if we just didn't go to our deaths? That's a good idea, right? Yeah. So I mean, it's bonkers as heck. Like, Otome does this. Yeah. Otome has no fear at all of just being completely off the wall. And I think that's why I like the genre so much. Like, yeah, dating the boys is fun too. But just the way that they do things with stories is like, you know what? Sure, I'm on board for this. None of it makes sense, but it's fine. But I love it because, like, where else are you going to get some kind of crazy story like this? Where are you going to get that?
Only in Otome.
It's awesome. It's so awesome. I will say I didn't love the art.
Yeah.
It was a little odd. Although Fox was my favorite in terms of how he was drawn, because he gets that like upside down V face, so he looks really sad sometimes. Protagonist is an idiot. She is an utter idiot. Like, she's not good at anything. And I don't know. I kind of hated her.
Protagonist is an idiot.
She is! And I mean, like, after the most recent one that we played was Code Realize, and like, Cardia has her moments, but for the most part, she's pretty competent.
Right.
This girl is not at all. She has a cute dog, though.
That's always a good thing.
Mm-hmm. And I guess going back to that whole cell phone gag at the beginning, they make a joke about, like, everybody has their smartphones. This is awesome. But then, like, Red, who has stolen the identity of Fox, he has a general idea of what these are, but he doesn't know how to use them because he's like, the cell phone that I'm used to has a keyboard on it. How do you type if there's no keys? And then Green is like, what is a smartphone? I don't understand what any of this is. And like, you realize later, he's like, oh God, it's because he died when he was 8.
That technology wasn't there.
That's why he doesn't know what it is. Like, this is so depressing because he has a flip phone.
As you should.
Yeah, I mean, God, it hurts so much. It made everything really, really sad. This game made me sad way more than it should have. Like, there are moments I was genuinely upset because of what happened. And I think it's good because, like,
right.
Otome is odd in some points, but, like, making me feel things is impressive. That makes it sound like I never feel things, but still.
I never feel. Ow.
So yeah, the art isn't great. The music is kind of generic. I like the flowchart idea. I think that worked really well. And it made it easier at certain points to figure out like what kind of route you were going to go on to.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it's just like domestic stuff. Like, let's make pancakes with this boy that you like. And that's fine.
Who doesn't like making pancakes?
Terrible people. Yellow is consistently like very, very rapey. And I hate that. I absolutely hate that. Like, I wanted nothing to do with him
Yeah.
the entire time. I was like, you can just die in this lake. That's fine. Stay with Red. Y'all are both psycho. But I mean, otherwise, like I said, I liked Blue. He was okay, and then Green and Fox were really really awesome. So Psychedelica, the Black Butterfly, is a thing. Did I miss anything? Is there anything that I told you that like I didn't talk about?
Not that I can recall, but I don't remember. We didn't really talk much about like a lot of the plot points.
Yeah, the protagonist has this weird thing in her head that switches sides
Yeah.
depending on if you're looking at her, and I still have yet to figure out what that thing is.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the best otome I've ever played, but I liked it.
Serviceable.
Yeah, I'd probably put it like around the same area as Period Cube.
But
Like,
maybe higher.
I mean, it doesn't have you dating your brother, so that's automatically a positive. But Yellow also was just trash, so
Right.
it was neat though the way that like as you were going through the common route, every once in a while you'd have to unlock the side stories, and you would get like side stories of like memories with childhood friend and all, and you would start to see like what these guys were like when they were kids and like what the relationship was with the girl, and
Mm-hmm.
like she was pretty good about like two of them were pretty heavily bullied, and she's like, yeah, no, this isn't happening, dudes, let's go, we'll fight. So she's like ready to fight for all of her friends, and that's pretty nice. Like that's like her one real positive. Yeah, I liked it. It wasn't the best one, but it wasn't the worst one. It's like Blue.
Straight in the
I
middle.
didn't, yeah, but man, the story though was pretty good. I was impressed. It made me feel.
Because you never feel.
Ever.
Well, speaking of games that make you feel, let's talk about some Yakuza 6.
Let's do it.
So, there's a lot to this game.
Yeah.
I think my final time count was like 40 hours-ish, like right around that time.
Okay.
So there's a lot to do. I want to kind of go into like some side stuff first, just before we get into everything, because I might forget to talk about this. Some of the side stuff in this game is just so ridiculous. Like
you show me the karaoke.
That's a staple of the series. It's great karaoke. But one of the things I didn't get to when I was playing it, the demo a month ago, was there's a baseball management aspect to this game, where you basically get a team and you get to go around town and be like, hey, you want to join my baseball team?
Oh my god.
And then you go through this entire storyline of beating the local teams around the town, until you finally like beat this one that's just made up of like actual like pro players, because some jerk's like, I'm gonna buy all these pro players and take over the stadium. So you go through all that, and then like the actual mechanics of that is that like it's basically like simming a game, to where like you can like sub in players here and there, sub in pitchers, do all that sort of stuff like you would like with like a baseball management sim. And then whenever there's like a critical moment within the game, it'll take you out of that and place you as the batter of the play that's happening at that moment. So like there's actually like batting mechanics in this game. It's crazy.
I think my favorite was that you sent me a screenshot of one of the characters like holding the baby while you were in baseball mode.
Yeah.
He was like, all right.
We were supposed to leave the town, and I was like, well, I can go do whatever I want. I'm going to go play some baseball. He just shows up, and he's like, hey, I got the baby. Don't worry. There's a lot of stuff like that are split between both towns of Kamurocho and what's the Hiroshima? Onimichi is the Hiroshima town. I did a lot of stuff in Onimichi, because I think I did like all the side stories there. I didn't do as many in Kamurocho, because I feel like I was more in Onimichi than Kamurocho for the most part. At least I just enjoyed my time there better, because I think it's just a new place compared to Kamurocho, which has basically been in every game.
Mm-hmm.
But some of like the wacky stuff you get into is like, oh, you find the mascot of Onomichi, and then the person behind that's like, oh, we need you to get in this costume and play this character because we don't have the person who was going to do it like backed out.
Is he like the Lego headed looking guy?
He's the dude with the orange on it, the orange head.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So you have to play that character for like a good couple of times, and most of the time it's solving problems by beating people up because they're frightening children. And then there's another one with that where like, oh, you go to the bar and do karaoke, and then it's like, oh, the mascot's gonna have a CD coming out soon. And then like the last one is actually like real like heartwarming because it's like you meet this little girl that you'd met before, and she's having an argument with her mother. And like Kiryu walks up to like kind of like walks in as it's happening, and like the girl's like real scared because she's gonna have like surgery, and she's real concerned about like all that. So you go get the costume and like go cheer her up as the mascot, and basically like help her like kind of get over her fear of having to go get surgery, and make her feel a lot better, which was real nice. And the last time you had to do anything with the mascot. Oh, what else? Oh, there's deep sea diving fishing where you go underwater and fight fish with a harpoon gun.
Yeah, you told me there were sharks in this game, so that automatically makes it so I can't play it.
I shot the heck out of a shark.
Yikes.
I mean, that's a side story, so you technically don't have to do it, but it is a thing. I fought some ghosts.
What?
Yeah. There's a side story that happens if you go into the graveyard at nighttime, and you'll just fight ghosts. And it's like these ghosts of this like this pirates that were killed, and they were from Onomichi, and they never got to like have like this big fight when they were alive, so they come back and fight Kiryu like multiple times. It's real something. There's some other stuff in Kamurocho as well, like that they've added. Like there's a gym you can go to, and you get to have like all these workout programs, and then like afterwards you have to go find the specific place that like your trainer's like, oh, you should go eat this specific food, and then it'll help you with your training. So there's that thing. The storyline with the pro wrestlers that are in it is way more like fleshed out than I was anticipating it to be. So like the wrestlers they have in there, like they basically kind of like act as their characters are in actual wrestling. So like Toru Yano's this weird goofy guy who wants to cheat at everything. Tetsuya Naito is the cool, calm, and collected guy who will beat you up, but then is like, whoa, tranquilo. Also, he speaks a lot of Spanish because that's the way his character is in wrestling, and they localize it here to where like he's speaking Spanish every now and then, which seems like it would be very confusing for people going into this game who have no idea who he is. They're like, why is this guy speaking Spanish?
Yeah, I feel like that would be confusing.
I guess for context, he was floundering his character in Japan. He went to Mexico for excursion for a little bit, joined a heel stable or bad guy stable in Mexico called Los Ingobernables, basically the Ungovernables. And then he took that and came back to Japan and made his own version of it called Los Ingobernables de Japón. And then, yeah. And then he basically starts using like Spanish words within like his promos now and then. So that's the thing. There's also Hiroshi Tenzan and Satoshi Kojima, who are like an actual tag team in real life, and they just basically just pair them up and like, yeah, we just hang out a lot, I guess. I don't know. That's our motivation for being together. And then like the top two guys are like legitimate like top guys in New Japan. So like the penultimate guy you get, and like all these guys, like you have to like fight them in the minigame portion of the game, and then they'll eventually join your clan. The penultimate guy you face is Hiroshi Tanahashi, who is like in wrestling, he's like a perennial good guy. Like he's known as the ace of the company, like basically the top guy, or at least has been for a long, long time. And it's interesting because the guy who's on top of the gang, Justice is the gang you're fighting against, Kazuchika Okada, who is basically now the top guy in New Japan. Those two characters in wrestling are like very much as rivals all the time. But in this, the reasoning Tanahashi gives for like being with Okada is like, he gave me a reason to like follow him, so I'm going to follow him until I get like a reason not to. And then eventually like he joins up with you, but like he's never really like a bad guy in this per se. Like the other ones kind of have like reasons of like, oh well, we want to beat you up because we were ordered to and all this sort of stuff. He's just like, I kind of have to do this, but if you convince me otherwise, we'll do this. And then eventually you get to Okada and you fight him. In the boss fight you have against him, they play his like actual wrestling theme music in the background, and it's fantastic. But like it's so
right up your alley.
It is 1,000%. But like the reason they give him for being like this kind of bad guy in the game is that like, Justice originally was meant to be like this group of people who would kind of like take out like rival gangs that were like doing bad. So like they were kind of like this vigilante group trying to do things for good. But this rival like Yakuza group came in and basically tortured and killed his girlfriend in front of him.
Oh God.
Yeah. So like that like really changed him and made him a lot darker. And basically he decided like, oh, I need to make my group a lot more powerful, and that's the way to solve all of this. And that's basically kind of like the reason why he comes into conflict with you and all this. So eventually you get him over to your side, and then like you take down the people who were like influencing him. And that basically solves that side story. But it was way more nuanced than I was really anticipating it to be. The sirens are very much in agreement of that. What else is there? There were some things I was going to remember, but I'm blanking on now, which is a bummer. Oh, when I was in Onomichi, there's a whole thing where like you go to a bar and you get to hang out with like all the patrons of it. So you get to like know all these different people and like help them out with like some different things here and there, until like basically it's like you have like this little group of buddies with you in this bar, and it's real nice and sweet.
It becomes Cheers.
Kind of, yeah. You can go to host clubs, which I think that's basically a thing with all the games.
Yeah.
But the one girl I ended up like requesting just by out of the blue, she was like, "Oh, hey, what's up? I'm a hostess. Also, I'm a pro wrestler." And I was like, "Oh, that's a funny thing." And then like going through the credits, I was like, "Oh, all the girls in the host club are like they're real people, and that's their real names." So like, does that mean she's actually like a pro wrestler? And it turns out she's an actual pro wrestler. It's like she's wrestled for like DDT and places like that. I was like, that's wow. There's so much pro wrestling in this game. No wonder I like it.
You befriended cats.
Oh yes, cats. That's a great thing to mention. There is a side quest to where you go to this cat cafe, and the owner's like, "Hey, I got this cat cafe. It's real cool. I love cats." But he's like real bad with cats in retrospect. Oh. So like he only has one cat, and then like when you go there, the cat leaves.
No.
So he's
That's
like
depressing.
So he asked Kiryu to be like, hey, if you look, you seem like you're better with cats than me. Like maybe if you find them out in the street and like you can help me bring them here, because I want to bring in a bunch of like strays and give them a home and let people enjoy them. So that becomes like your mission as you go out, and you'll find cats like you're like meow, and you have to go like, find them, and like you'll see a cat and you have to go feed it, and then eventually you befriend it, and then you call up the cat cafe dude, or if you're in Onomichi, like some other person who's affiliated with it, and they'll come get the cat and bring it to the cat cafe. And then eventually cat cafe will be filled with cats.
So do you actually meow at them?
No, they meow at you to let you know
okay.
like they're in the area.
Oh, okay. I thought you were meowing at them.
No, unfortunately not.
That's upsetting. I meow at my cats.
There was like when the first one I found in Onomichi was like I could hear it meowing, but like I couldn't find it, so I was like walking around the area, and then just like you just see it popping out of this pipe, and it's like, "Hello, I'm here. Feed me."
Aww.
It was real good.
How many cats did you end up with?
Maybe like 10, and that wasn't even all of them.
Wow.
I had quite a few. I had befriended a lot of cats.
Cat friends.
Cat friends. They're all very good. There were some surprising callbacks to Yakuza 0 in this. Like one side quest in Yakuza 0 has you like going in as Majima and taking down this cult, and then in this game you go in and find that cult again and have to go take them down. But the twist is like the guy who is like, "Hey, you should go like take down this cult," is the original leader of the cult.
Huh.
Who's like, "I've reformed my ways. I realize I did some bad stuff and I'm trying to fix it." And then another thing is when you're in Onomichi, you find the guy who ran like the pocket racing circuit, and he's like an old man now, and he's like selling tofu. And the whole thing of that is like you help him reconnect with his family and like make his like get him and his wife like better acquainted with each other again, and like help him with his son, because his son really like doesn't know him and doesn't like know that side of him. So like you help them with that. It's a real interesting like way to tie those games together, considering they're so far apart within like the canon. But that was a real cool, neat touch. I can't think of like anything else off the top of my head that happens in terms of like side content. I played darts with a professional dart player who spoke English. I whooped
Oh,
his
you
ass.
said that. Wow.
It's like bam, 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 darts. Played a lot of darts. Cause that's the thing.
I'm bad at darts in real life. I don't know
So
how
am
to
I.
win games. I'm really, really upset that like middle-aged man selfie thing that I saw on the internet isn't like a real thing.
It should be like, it should automatically make it so like, because you can take selfies in this game.
Yeah.
It should make it to where like Kiryu just takes the worst selfies.
And post them on like whatever kind of Instagram thing, and it has like the worst captions. Like it could be like a Catherine style system where you can like choose what your caption is, but they're all just terrible options.
It would have been perfect.
I think that would fit with the lore of the game pretty well.
1,000%. It totally would. All right, let's talk about the main story, because there's a lot that happens. I guess I should preface this by saying that before this game came out, Sega was pretty adamant, being like, this is the last game. This is Kiryu's last game. The next Yakuza game is going to have a completely new protagonist. So bear that in mind going into this. We did talk about the beginning when we talked about the demo a month or so ago. I'll briefly go over kind of what happens in that time frame from then, just in case people have forgot. It's a few years after Yakuza 5. In the time between Yakuza 5 and Yakuza 6, Kiryu went to jail. He comes back. His essentially adopted daughter Haruka is missing, and apparently she has a kid. So you figure that out. Also, she got involved in a hit-and-run accident. And then she's in the hospital. You basically take the kid, as it sounds, and you go off to Hiroshima and Onomichi to find who the dad is. When you get to Onomichi, you basically you kind of find this bar at first and just chill out there. And the bar is run by this lady named Kiyomi, and she has some people who are infatuated with her from because they grew up together. One of those is this guy named Nagamo, who is in the Yakuza, and he's a part of the Hirose family. Hirose is Beat Takeshi, everyone's favorite. So you and Nagamo get off on the wrong foot. He basically tries to fight you all the time, including during a baseball game. Eventually, he decides, hey, getting beat up all the time by Kiryu is a bad idea. What if we were brothers? So that kind of becomes that. So you get introduced to the Hirose family, including people like Yuta, who will become a big prominent character. Yuta is Tatsuya from Battle Royale.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, Tatsuya is the actor's name.
Yes.
He is... Why am I blanking on the name?
Because you're blanking on the name.
That's the worst, because
Shuya.
Shuya, thank you. I love Battle Royale, but which I do want to say, while we're talking about Tatsuya Fujiwara, I had the biggest crush on this dude. It was a huge crush when I was in high school, because I watched Battle Royale, and then I watched a few of his other live action movies. I watched the live action Death Note from Japan because of him, which isn't a great movie, but boy howdy did I have a big crush on him. So when you mentioned that he was in this, I'm like, ah. So he's older now. He's 35, and now he's
but they make
they
make him look younger in this too.
Yeah. Apparently this is his second Yakuza game, but
because he's apparently in 3.
He is. But I was pretty stoked, and they did make him look similar to Tatsuya. He has some similarities, but it's not Beat Takeshi levels of similarity. So but I was real excited. Whenever you were talking about him from then on, I just called him Tatsuya because
that's true.
Who he is.
I guess I should. There's a clarification I need to make beforehand. Before you leave Kamurocho and go to Hiroshima, you go to the Tojo clan, its headquarters, because Kiryu is a former chairman. I think that's what they. It's basically, he's the former head of the Tojo clan, so he's been high up in the Yakuza before. So you go there because your friend Daigo has been put in jail, and you go and meet with like the new leadership, who is Sugai is the acting chairman, and then there's also this new upstart guy named Somaya who's trying to become the next in line, essentially. So you go there and you're like, what the why is Daigo in jail? And there's like, and then eventually you leave and get to Hiroshima and all that stuff. All right, so you're in Hiroshima. You meet Beat Takeshi. He's eating the parfait, all that stuff. You have the baby. You're running around.
Wait, you don't have the baby. You obtain the baby.
You obtain the baby. You're running around with the baby, and trying to find
not
out.
throw the baby in the ocean.
Not throwing it in the ocean. So you're going around trying to figure out, okay, who's the kid or who's the dad, and eventually the Hirose family is like, okay, yeah, Haruka was here at one point, so we kind of know her. Even though at first everybody's like, we don't know this person. So that kind of helps you in like, okay, well, someone here has to know something. Along the way, you get introduced to the Hiroshima's big Yakuza clan, the Yomei Alliance, who is led by that's the wrong name. Heizo Iwami, but he has like a different name for his like Yakuza. Oh, he has like his different name for his Yakuza dealings because he's the chairman of Iwami's shipbuilding, but on the other side he's also Takeru Kirisu, and that is his name as the chairman of the Yomei Alliance. He's flanked by his son Suneo Iwami, who he gave the shipbuilding stuff to, and also is like being prepped for the next in line to take over for the Yakuza as well. So they're the big guys in Hiroshima. The Hirose family is like under them. They're the family within the whole thing, essentially. And essentially, you kind of do get off on the wrong foot with them as well. But you meet up with the chairman, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, hey, Somaya is here from Kamurocho. We're gonna kind of try and make a peace treaty with the Tojo clan because we're usually neutral and we don't get involved in any of this stuff. So Kiryu, you're a big name. If you were to like approve of this, man, everyone would be like, oh, this is for real. So you go out on this boat and like you get the whole spiel, and then Kiryu's like, nah, I don't approve. And then he leaves, and everyone's like, meh. So you go back to continuing on about trying to find the dad. Eventually, you hear from Kiyomi that one of Yuta's friends had this conversation about, oh, you shouldn't have this kid. And Yuta and his friend and Haruka had been known to be like friendly with each other. So she basically assumes, oh, he's probably the dad because you wouldn't have this conversation unless you were the dad and you knew she was pregnant. So Kiryu finds out about that. They know that he went to Kamurocho around the same time that Haruka disappears. So we go back to Kamurocho. When we go to Kamurocho, we go to the club where this guy supposedly worked at. Let's see if I can get a name because I don't remember his name. I might not be able to. If not, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Well, don't worry about it.
That guy.
Yuta's friend. So we go to this bar called Stardust, which is prominent in the series as well. Stardust has been sold to the Korean Mafia. And you meet the new owner of it. He's a fellow by the name of Han Jun-gi. If I'm poorly butchering Korean pronunciation, forgive me. But he's this like fancy K-pop looking dude, essentially. And he's kind of changed Stardust into like this weird place where it's like masquerades and like there's a ring that falls from the ceiling and people just beat the shit out of each other.
Which, like, for context, if you know anything about K-pop, like if you bulked up Minho from SHINee a bit, it would basically be this guy. Like if you put a lot more musculature on Minho, that's who he is. Especially silver hair Minho.
So you and Yuta go to the club, and Han Joon-gi's like, I want to fight Kiryu. Kiryu's like, nah. So Yuta is like, I'll fight you because I know you got this information. Yuta gets his beat and pretty much nearly dies and is like, and then Kiryu's like, okay, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you now. So he does.
All right, now we fight.
Yeah. So he does that, and then you get this conversation with Han Joon-gi, and he's basically like, yeah, this dude used to work here, but he doesn't now. But I could probably get you an address, maybe? I don't know. We'll figure something out. Eventually, you find the address of Yuta's friend. It's you, Nagamo, and Yuta, and you go to his apartment. You basically open the door or break it down because it's unlocked or it's locked or something like that. And you find there's a woman dead in his apartment, and also Yuta's friend is dead in his apartment.
Yikes.
Yeah, yikes. So that basically becomes a horror deal. Okay, well, if he's the dad and he's dead, what just happened? Also, a big thing to know is that Kamurocho is going through kind of like a turf war. The Tojo clan usually controls Kamurocho, but in recent months in game, the Chinese mafia, the Sayo Triad, have basically come in and taken over a part of Kamurocho called Little Asia. So that's very important here.
Wait, there's a Little Asia in Japan?
Yes, they literally call it Little Asia.
Oh my goodness.
Eventually, your information leads back to Somaya, so you go and confront him, and he's basically like, hey, I bet the Chinese mafia have something to do with this. You should find out about that. So you and your buddies, which is you, Nagamo, Yuta, and also returning series protagonist Shun Akiyama, formulate this plan to, like, they're going to break into the Triad's headquarters and try and find some answers about this guy. Because they've learned that, he was working for the Triad. So you do that, and you have this fight with, like, one of their big guys, the Triad's big guys called Ed. You beat him up. And then the boss comes in. His name is Big Low. He's the Triad boss. He comes in and he's like, I know who you are, Kiryu, so, like, I'm going to give you the respect that you probably deserve. If you want to have some conversations, you can meet me at this place, and we'll have a discussion. What they don't know is that he mentioned something in Chinese before then, and Yuta can speak Chinese. And he mentioned something about the secret of Onomichi. And everyone's like, what's the secret of Onomichi? And also, I think this is the point where Big Low's like talking about how Yuta's friend is actually Chinese. And there's this whole like process called the Heiwaizi or something like that, where it's in China, if you have like another kid outside of like the limits of how many kids you can have, the Triad was sending these kids to Japan, giving them like blank identification, all that stuff, and then having them live in Japan with the idea of, eventually if the Triad comes to Japan, we'll have all these people ready.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. It's better than like killing them.
Yeah.
But like also you're putting them in a mafia when they're children,
and
basically.
Essentially they've been sending them to Hiroshima.
Ah.
So you plan to go meet Big Low. Somaya comes in and he's like, why don't you take me with you? I want to talk to the guy. I want to figure out, I want to try and squash this beef between our two groups. And Kiryu agrees, but basically everyone's like, yo, he's going to try and kill him. And Kiryu's like, not if I try, and not if I stop him. So you and Somaya go to this abandoned building in Kamurocho, and that's where you meet Big Low. Which basically this whole plays out where Somaya's like, I'm going to kill this guy. And then Kiryu's like, no, don't do that. So you beat up Somaya and he runs off, and then you and Big Low have this conversation. I think he possibly reveals that Yuta's friend isn't the father of Haruto here. I might be wrong, but I think there's like a big proponent of this conversation where they have that. And then basically he's like, hey, Kiryu, why don't you work with me, huh? Kiryu's like, nah. Ain't got time for that.
Everybody wants to work with him.
I mean, he's real famous, and like
they either want to work with him or fight him, or both.
That's basically the gist of the Yakuza series. So you go back to Onomichi, and while you've been away, you left Haruto there. You left him with Kiyomi, because you're like, oh, she can take care of the kid. He'll be fine. Also, I guess I should clarify this as well. When Somiya came to Onomichi the first time, he reveals that he and Kiyomi were married at one point, and that makes Nagano very sad, because he's crushing on her very hard. But anyways, you get back to Hiroshima, and then everyone's like, by the way, Haruto kind of got kidnapped. Whoops.
BT dubs.
BT dubs. And they're like, yeah, the Yomei Alliance is kind of after the kid. That's a bad thing. This might actually be the point where I think Bigelow reveals to you, like, hey, we want to kill the kid.
Yeah.
And there'll be reasons for that. Eventually, you find out that, like, Hirose has the kid, beat Takeshi. And you track him down, and then you have this big powwow in a shrine. And this is where Hirose unveils that Yuta is the father of Haruto. It's a shocking reveal.
What?
Also, Yuta is the son of Big Lo and the now successor to the Sayo Triad, because Bigelow's other son, Jimmy, was murdered just very recently, and now Yuta is the new successor.
Makes sense why he knows Chinese.
Yes. And basically he's like, oh yeah, by the way, your friend Yuta, yeah, he was working basically for the Yomei Alliance and the Triad to like keep an eye on you, because you're one of those Heihaisi people.
Huh.
So we get that reveal, and then people come to show up and try and kidnap the kid again, and are very successful in doing so. Also, this is the point where they're lateraling the kid back and forth. Literally chucking the kid.
I think that's like how you get shaken baby syndrome.
The kid was fine with it. He was like, this is fun. I'm flying through the air. So eventually...
And nobody's like, hey, baby, don't throw the baby like a damn football.
Well, it's either that or the kid gets kidnapped.
Oh, okay.
So it's one or the other.
Right.
Eventually, everyone regroups after going through a lot of people. Hanjun-gi shows up again. He's like, hey, I'm kind of running this. I need the kid. All right, let's fight. Oh, I got beat up. Well, later. You get everyone back together, and you go off to like this shipyard that's a little bit of ways away from the town. And you maneuver your way through the shipyard, and you find out that Hanjun-gi has the kid. So you have another fight with him. And you beat him up, and essentially he's like, look, there are some things here you don't know about. People are masquerading as people that aren't who they say they are. You know, the person behind the secret of Onomichi is BAM! And he gets headshotted. So Kiryu has to hold the baby and like gets under cover so he doesn't get shot, or the baby gets shot. And you know, we're kind of back at square one because, well, we got the kid, but things are kind of bad. Also, I believe this is the point where you get back and you punch Yuta through the door of the Hirose family headquarters.
Why do you punch him through a door?
Because Kiryu's mad.
Because he's the father?
And he didn't tell him.
Well, did he know for sure?
So the thing is, like, he said he didn't know because, like, oh, we had sex once, and I didn't think it was going to be a big deal. This is the point where also the other guy in the family is like, why didn't you use protection? And then Nagamo goes up and just kicks him straight in the face.
Yeah, didn't he say, like, something about bagging it or whatever? Yeah, wow. Do they not do sex ed in, like, the Yakuza?
They're kids.
Do they not teach them, like, hey, you know...
Apparently not.
God.
That should have been a thing.
Right, Yakuza sex ed. Have sex once and you have a baby that you're now going to have to football around everywhere.
Gotta watch out for throwing the baby around. Yeah.
Important things you learn in sex ed.
My timing of the sequences may be a little bit off here, but I think basically after this, things are a little bit hairy because Yuta has got to figure out, okay, well, I'm the dad, and I'm also the son of this triad dude. That's real messed up. So like he's dealing with a lot of stuff. He doesn't understand how to handle it. Eventually, he comes to terms like, okay, I gotta deal with this. So Kiryu and Yuta go back to Kamurocho, and the plan is they're gonna go talk with Bigelow and figure this out.
And that's his dad.
That's his dad, yeah.
Okay.
So you get to Kamurocho, and you're holed up in like this bar that's basically kind of like a safe place for Kiryu and all of his buddies. And you kind of like step out for a little bit and then come back, and Yuta's gone.
Oh.
And he has made his way over to Little Asia to the Triad headquarters, and is trying to pass off as like a belligerent drunk, but he's also like, you know who I am. Let me go see my dad.
Oh no.
So you get a cutscene of like him sitting up in like Bigelow's office, and he's like, "Oh, what's up, Bio Dad? Why don't you join me if we drink?"
Bio Dad.
Yeah, that's what he calls him.
Oh
And
my
then
God.
that's the last thing you see until like Kiryu runs up and goes to Little Asia, and he sees the place is on fire. So you make your way through the burning building up to the office, and then basically you get to see what happened, where Yuta is not happy, and he basically has this plan where one of the alcohol bottles he was keeping in his pocket is full of gasoline.
Jesus.
So he chucks it at the door and then throws his lit cigarette at it and just sets the place on fire. And his plan is to kill Bigelow and himself.
Why himself?
Because I think he thinks if I'm not here to run the triad, they won't come after Haruto. They won't continue to try and kill that kid. Kiryu is like, no, you're not doing that. Neither of you are dying. So stop that.
Stop being almost dead.
So we beat up Yuta, and we get him and Bigelow out of the building. This is where Bigelow kind of reveals his part of this thing, to where like his dad and the head of the Yome Alliance, Heizo, they had this deal back at the end of the war, and that's the secret of Onomichi. When Bigelow's dad dies, he basically gives him this saying that's like, oh, this is the key to the secret, but he doesn't tell him what the secret is. Bigelow basically bluffs his way to having a meeting with the Yome Alliance, and he's like, oh yeah, I know what the secret is. But then it's like, I'm never going to go meet with them again, because if I keep meeting with them, they'll know I'm lying. So there's this tension there, and then he gives Kiryu the key to the secret. And then once all that goes down, Bigelow's like, yeah, since this happened, I'm pretty much a dead man, because I'm going to call off the order for having the kid killed and Yuta killed, which if that's the case, and I don't let him come on as a successor, I'm breaking the law of having like this bloodline lineage of our triad, and they're just going to come kill me. So that's pretty much like the end of Bigelow's story.
Yikes.
Yuta and Kiryu go back to Onomichi, and the plan is, okay, we're gonna find out the secret. Also, you learn that Heizo has this person who goes around and murders anyone who knows the secret. So if anyone comes into contact with it or figures it out, he has them murdered to keep it under wraps. So that's something to keep in mind as we go forward here. You go around Onomichi and like, okay, we have this code, and it represents like 9 different things. How are we going to figure this out? Eventually, you figure out that like all the poetry stones that you've run around and come across in Onomichi, those are the key or the secret to the key. And then basically with that, you're able to pinpoint down that the key is telling you to go to a gravestone in the graveyard, and you go there with all your buddies, and you find this map, or like it's blueprints, and it's blueprints to the shipyard, or like what originally the shipyard was going to be. So you go there, and you surprisingly, I know, you fight your way through a bunch of people. And then eventually you find this like rusted door. And it's like, okay, well, this is probably on the other side of this door is the secret. And then you're about to open the door, and the murderer shows up. The guy who's basically been sent to kill anyone who knows a secret.
Oh no.
He throws a knife at one of the Hirose family guys, his leg, and then Kiryu steps in front. But by this point, you know that the murderer is Hirose. Beat Takeshi's out here killing fools.
Beat Takeshi. What the heck?
So you get to fight Beat Takeshi.
Nice.
And it's really cool because like it's a different kind of fight because it uses like the environment to it. Because like at one point, I think like, you get him down to a quarter of health. He like throws a knife at the like at some like pipes, and like steam just fills the entire like place where you're fighting. So like you're just running around, and he'll just like come in like real quick, and you have to like do a quick time event to like dodge out of the way. It's a pretty neat like little aspect because it's a lot different than most of the other fights you're involved in. Eventually, you beat him up, and also you hear these sirens start to go off, and the dude who went into the door is like, "Hey, I pulled this lever, and now everything's going crazy. I think we're gonna find out what the secret is." And you see this like giant battleship pull out of the water, and this battleship is like a recommissioned form of. Hang on, let me make sure I get this right. It's the Mark II version of the Japanese battleship Yamato. I want to say is the thing, and it was commissioned during World War II as a deterrent, just in case they needed it. And it was a deal struck by Heizo and this politician named Idoji, who was basically like using war funds to go build to fund this thing illegally. And the secret is that they have this ship, and no one knows about it until now. And then, because at the same time, Heizo shows up and is like, "Well, you know the secret now. You done goofed." And then you get this whole backstory of like how Hirose joined up with the Yomei Alliance, how he was basically taken in because he didn't have like a father or anything, and was like running this group of teenagers who basically turned on him. And then eventually he's basically given the option of like, "Hey, help me out with this thing by killing anyone who knows about the secret." And that's how Hirose kind of becomes the person he is today. And then Heizo's like, "Oh, hey, by the way, they know the secret. You should kill all of these people." So he gets up to throw his like to gut Kiryu, but Nagamo, the captain of the Hirose family, jumps in front of him and is like, "Boss, you can't do this." And that forces like Hirose to hesitate. He's like, I can't do it. I can't do it." And then Heizo shoots him. Shoots Beat Takeshi right in the gut.
Oh no.
It's very sad.
I mean, he did try to kill you, but
so you get this thing, and then Heizo's like, "Well, he didn't follow orders, so I had to do what I had to do. Sucks to suck." He leaves, and then the rest of the Hirose family's there, and they're trying to help Beat, and he reveals there that a lot of like the Hirose family, like they got taken in because like they didn't have parents. And he's like, "By the way, I kind of killed your dads. Like, sorry about that. My bad."
Yikes.
And then Beat dies.
Because you got shot in the gut.
Also a testament to Beat Takeshi being a real actor. Like, that scene is very sad.
I believe it. And I mean that's something that people don't always pick up on, is that he's more than just a comedian.
Yeah. After that happens, there's also a power struggle happening within the Yomei Alliance.
Wait. Did he die and then wake up and answer the phone, then die again?
Answer the phone.
Battle Royale.
Oh, no, he did not do that.
All right. Continue.
So there's a power struggle happening within the Yomei Alliance as well. Heizo's son Tsuneo is basically trying to usurp his dad, and the scene afterwards is basically him going to his dad and be like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I know the secret. I've known about it for 40 years, and you never involved me in this. So get f***." And he has his dad assassinated.
Jesus.
So now Tsuneo is the head of the Yomei Alliance because he's like, oh, my dad committed suicide. Oh, welp. Guess I'm in charge now. And that's bad. Because this guy is not good. Anyways. We go back to the Hirose headquarters and everyone's real sad because they're conflicted. Like, they don't know if they should be grieving for Hirose or not. Because, like, they had that reveal of, like, oh, he killed our dads. And then Kiryu's kind of just like, well, how do you like really feel about him? And they're like, well, we didn't really know our dads, but like he was basically kind of like a dad to us and took us in when no one else would. And like they actually get like this nice moment of like being able to actually kind of grieve for him, even though like it's complicated. And if there's one thing that I think the Yakuza series it does very well, is this seems like, I think I may have talked about this last time, but like it seems like such a masculine power fantasy type series, but it really flies in the face of like a lot of forms of toxic masculinity where it just like throws all that out of the way and is like, well, guys can be emotional, guys can have like these complicated feelings, like despite the fact that you're beating up people all the time, like there's all these different types of emotions and empathy that people can feel. And I'm gonna pull this tweet that I found that I think is almost like is kind of like tongue in cheek, but also it describes the series to a T. Let me see if I can find that real quick. I'm gonna talk and fill time until I do it because Twitter's loading, and it's like, oh, I'm loading.
Twitter is a good website.
I'm a good website. Blah, 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 blah. That's Twitter. That's how you know it's Twitter, because it's like brr, 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 brr.
It's like a fake horn.
This tweet says, Yakuza 6 is a power fantasy, but the fantasy is that no one, not the gangsters, the joke characters from 2 games ago, the kids who don't know better, is so far gone that they can't set themselves on the path to be better people. Which I think that describes the series to like a T, because everyone can have a redemption story in these games. They may be real terrible people, but like there's the option that we're like, hey, they can see the error of their ways and come out of it on the other side, or they'll just be terrible people.
Yeah, but the presence of gray areas is
it's present.
It's significant.
Mm-hmm. So we got our black suit gang because we're all very sad.
We're mourning?
Yeah, we're all in mourning, so we're all in suits.
Okay.
Basically, the gist is, though, that the Yomei Alliance is after us. Also, the Tojo clan is after us. Everyone's after us. Things are real bad. This is where, like, some dude just shows up and shoots an RPG at the Hirose, like, headquarters.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's the thing. And then you beat up a bunch of people.
As you do.
As you do. So that takes us back to Kamurocho. And essentially, we learn that Sugai, the now person who's the head of the Tojo clan, he's been working with Tsuneo, the now leader of the Yomei Alliance, and they have this like bad connection together. They're gonna try and form this super group, and it's bad. It's real bad, and they want to kill us. So we try to get some help from Somaya, and he's like, hey, listen, I know where Sugai is. He's on the top floor of the Millennium Tower. If you go there, you'll probably be able to talk to him at least. And basically, Kiryu's kind of so far gone because they still want to like kidnap Haruka, even though like she just woke up at this point. So like he gets to finally like see her and talk to her, and they have like this nice touching reunion and all that sort of stuff. But they still want to kill her. They want to kill him and all that sort of stuff. So he's trying to like figure out like, oh, am I so far gone that I'm going to kill these people? Because that's not what I do. I don't kill people, even though the game will tell you differently when you do certain heat actions. Like, oh, I'm going to stab a guy in the gut and then need the knife more into his gut. Kiryu doesn't kill people, but like he's like, oh, I don't know, I might end up killing these people. So you go to the Millennium Tower and you fight your way up. This is the part where where there's helicopters and you shoot them with RPGs. Multiple times.
Wow.
So you go up, you fight your way all the way up with your buddies. Yuta gets stabbed in this part. That's where he gets shanked.
Yuta's just having a bad day.
He's having a real bad day. So he gets messed up, and you go off on your own. And you make your way to the top floor, but you see like this video screen. And that's where Sugai is. You also see Tsuneo, and there's like, oh, we knew you were going to come, so we're not there. And you see Somaya show up, and they're like, oh, by the way, we're ordering this guy to kill you. So you better die. Oh, by the way, you remember Kiyomi? Yeah, we have her hostage. If you don't die, we're going to murder her. A lot of things are happening right now. So you have to fight Somaya, and you beat Somaya, which isn't good because you're supposed to die. And Sugai and Tsuneo are like, well, you didn't do what you're supposed to do, so we're going to kill the girl. But Kiryu, if you kill Somaya right here now, we'll let the girl go. She'll be fine. She'll live. And then there's like this, Tsuneo like starts counting down from 3. He's like, well, you gotta do it within 3 seconds or we're gonna kill her. And
moral dilemmas.
Moral dilemma. So Kiryu doesn't do it, but Somaya basically grabs his knife and is like, wait, I'll just do this. Stabs himself in the gut.
Ugh.
And then like he has this like pleading cry to Kiyomi, like because talking about like their daughter, because those two had a very rough relationship because Kiyomi had to leave Somaya because of the Yakuza lifestyle and all that stuff. And, like, he got abusive with her at times as well. And Somaya, like, while he's dying, is like, hey, I never, like, did anything bad to her. I never hit her. I never abused her or anything like that. I just wanted you to know before I die. And then he basically is just bleeding out. And then, but Sugai's like, I'm pretty sure he said time's up, so we're going to kill the girl. So one of the guys that are with them, his name's Koshimizu. He's kind of like this like bigger underling. Puts the gun to her head and is just like, well, sucks to suck for you guys. Turns off the camera and you hear a gunshot. And then Kiryu and Nagamo are trying to help Somaya, and he's just like, Somaya is like real bummed out, and Somaya is basically like, hey, find my daughter, and I want you guys to take care of her. Make sure she gets a good like upbringing. Make sure she's able to live. And then Somaya dies. Body count's rising.
Yeah, and I mean, like, kind of pointless too.
So basically after that, you go back to the bar, and you and Nagamo kind of have this like heart-to-heart. We're like, look, Nagamo kind of tells you like, oh, there's going to be like this funeral in Hiroshima tomorrow. Why don't we just go there and crash it and just f*** those guys up? We're not going to tell anyone else. And hey, if we die, we die. We're just going to go there and we're going to f*** them up. So that becomes like the plan. So they don't tell anyone, but they go off to Hiroshima and basically try to crash this thing. So the finale of the game is you get to the shipyard again, and that's where like this fake funeral is being held. I think it's also being like a celebration for Tsuneo ascending to the top of the Yomei Alliance and all that sort of stuff. So Sugai and Tsuneo are there, and you fight your way through, and you come face to face with them. So you beat up a bunch of guys. You beat up Koshimizu because he's bragging about killing Kiyomi, and then after all that, like, they still want you to die because, oh, by the way, we kidnapped Haruka and the kid, and oh, if you don't die here, we're gonna kill both of them.
Oh my god.
So Kiryu is very much like in a moral dilemma, and then Sugai takes this like pipe and just walks up to him and like beats him over the head with a pipe like 5 times, and Kiryu just takes it, and then he just like after the 5th time he just like just looks back down at him. He's like, it's gonna take more than that just to kill me. And Sugai's like, ah. And I think at this point, like, Tsuneyo's like, oh, so if you don't want to sit there and die, well, we'll just kill both of them right here, right now. So they get ready to do that, but Yuta and the rest of the Hirose family show up, and they take out the people who are holding Haruka and the kid. So you get some backup, And then you're able to fight against Tsuneo, and basically the final boss fight of the game. So you take him down, beat the shit out of him. You have, like, at one point you're like, Kiryu hesitates if he's going to kill him or not, and, like, punches him one more time to knock him out because Sugai has a gun, because I think Tsuneo, right before he gets knocked out, is like, yo, kill Haruka and the kid. And then Sugai pulls out the gun to do that, and I think Nagamo tries to get in front of him, gets shot in the leg, and then Sugai runs at Haruka and the kid, and he starts shooting at them, misses like a couple of times, and then Yuta tries to jump in front, but then you hear a gunshot, and he's like trying to bracing, like, oh god, did I get shot or not? But then you pan out, and Kiryu's in front of him, and he's the one who takes the bullet, and then he takes 2 more bullets.
Oh no.
But then, like, the others finally get to Sugai and beat him down. But Kiryu's real messed up.
Yeah, I mean, he took multiple bullets.
And then, like, Haruka and Yuta are, like, over him, and he's just like, hey, I hope I did well. I hope I can give you guys a good life. Like, just be happy with each other. And then, like, it cuts to credits. When you come back from credits, everyone's, like, real bummed. They're like, man, if only Kiryu was here, it'd be a lot better. You find the bar where Kiyomi worked is this, like, little girl, and it's Someya's daughter. And Nagamo's, like, is coming in there. He's, like, going to talk to her, like, just like, hey, you know, how was your family? Like, did you like your parents and all that sort of stuff? And they have this little, like, kind of heart-to-heart, and then the reveal is that, oh, Kiyomi is still alive.
Oh. Because
I guess the thing is that, like, Koshimizu, before he shot, like, had a gun, but the gun was full of blanks. So I get the basis that, like, they get was like, oh, when he saw Someya stab himself, he had a change of heart and decided not to kill her. Also, there's a big thing of after everything that's gone down, Sugai is out of the Tojo clan. The Ome Alliance is I think Koshimizu is now the head of the Ome Alliance. And then the Triad is getting out of Japan. So Daigo is back out of jail, and he is sitting with Majima and Saejima, who are both regulars in the series, but they don't really show up in this game a lot. They're basically like, oh yeah, so after everything went down, we're going into Hiroshima and f***ing those dudes up, aren't we? And Daigo's just kind of like sitting there patiently, and you get this like flashback of when Kiryu was visiting Haruka in the hospital. He's writing this letter, and he's writing this letter to Daigo, and he's basically like, you know, when I was the chairman, I kind of basically thrust everything upon you to make you the next in line, or at least like to prepare you to be the chairman of the Tojo clan. And I feel like I didn't do a lot of like good things for you. I felt like I kind of like rushed you into things. I thought I was doing what's best for you, but I really didn't consider like your feelings in this. And then he's like, I thought of you as a son, but I don't know if I was a good enough dad to you or not. And then they pull up to the Tojo headquarters, and like as soon as they walk out, like you get this like monologue of Daigo being like, yeah, we're not gonna go in there and mess them up. We're gonna try and form an alliance with them because that's what my dad would want. And then you get a cut to another hospital, and Kiryu's in the hospital, and he's being visited by this politician. And this politician's like, look, we know you know the legitimate details of what happened in Hiroshima. I'm going to pay you this money if you will not speak of it again, because the politician is basically like an underling of Daidoji, the politician who was behind a lot of this stuff. And he's like, look, I don't want to besmirch that guy's name. I don't want you talking about any of this. So here's some money, and then we'll be good. We'll be good. And then Kiryu's like, no. And the Hold's like, what? Kiryu's like, look, I'll do this, but you have to agree to my conditions. The first condition is get Daigo out of jail. The second is make everyone think I'm dead. Forge paperwork, do whatever. Make people think I'm dead. So they basically come to an agreement with that. The detective friend you have, Date, comes in. He's like, what are you doing? Like, you're never going to be able to see Haruka, Haruto, Yuta, any of those people again. Like, you will never see anyone you love again. And Kiryu's just like, I got to do what I got to do to protect him. So the last like scene you get is Haruka, Yuta, and the other kids that Kiryu used to look after at the orphanage he used to run, and they're watching Haruto try to walk for the first time. They're all encouraging him, like, "Yeah, come on, you can do it." And he falls over. Gets up again. "Oh yeah, you can do it." He falls over. He gets up like I think it's the second or third time. You see him like look away, like look out to the outside, and you see Kiryu standing there. But Haruto's the only person who notices him. By the time like Haruka sees like, oh, he's looking at something. What's he looking at? You don't see Kiryu anymore. And then by the third time that you see Haruto standing and like trying to walk, like you see Kiryu again like watching, and then you see him leave. And then they roll credits for the last time.
Ghost Dad.
Ghost Dad. Well, alive Ghost Dad. Presumed dead Ghost Dad.
Right, but everybody else would be like, Ghost Dad.
The sad ending.
Yeah, wow, that's a bummer.
I mean, it makes sense if, like, hey, they're like, oh, we're not going to make any more stories involving Kiryu, to, like, have him just be like, I'm going to fake my own death just to make sure everyone I love is okay, can live peacefully, yeah. Because that's kind of been the thing, is like, oh, anytime someone I care about has trouble, it's because, you know, someone's trying to get at me.
Yeah.
That's the basis for the 7 games, essentially.
So I guess by the end of it, like, that family and the orphanage and everything, they're safe now, right? Like, are they out of it?
Presumably. It seems like Yuta might be getting out of, like, the Yakuza.
I hope so, because Yuta's clearly bad at this. He kept getting beat up and shanked and stuff. Like, you're not made for this life, son. Like, maybe just don't.
Because, like, the scene in Hiroshima, like, after the credits is, like, him being like, oh, hey, you know, you guys are going to have to rebuild the Hirose family, like, you know, Nagamo, the other 2 guys, but he doesn't really mention himself. So I'd assume, like, the premise there is that, like, he's going to get out and help raise Haruto and be with Haruka.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
I'm real bummed out that, like, I mean, I guess it makes sense that now he's going to be protecting everybody from the sidelines, but man, what do you do? Like, is that just like your, like, lazy retirement? Like, what, he's in his 40s or 50s at this point?
I think like upper 40s, maybe.
So
50.
I mean, he's still got like a good 40-ish years, maybe more left in his life. Like, what do you do? Maybe he'll become a fisherman or something.
I mean, he could. He can do a lot of things. He could play baseball. He can fight pro wrestlers. He can harpoon fish.
He could karaoke.
He can karaoke.
I mean, I don't know. It's just sad.
I was sad.
Yeah, that's a bummer, but it sounds good. I mean, we both covered some very wacky scenarios in our we both had sad games.
We did.
But I mean,
in different ways.
In different ways, but also wacky in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what a combination, man. But also, as you said, on brand.
1000%. Oh. So yeah, play good games. Like Yakuza 6 and maybe Psychedelica of the Black Butterfly.
You got the name right. Yay!
I'll forget about it by Thursday when I'm putting this all together.
Nice. You can text me and be like, what is the name of that game again?
What's his name?
God. And then we'll have to do it again when Psychedelica of the Ashen whatever comes out.
Oh boy.
I forgot what it was Ashen. Do you remember?
Butterfly.
I don't
know.
Butterfly. I don't remember what it was.
Something.
Yeah, it's Ashen Hawk.
Yeah, same difference.
I kept thinking wolf, but those are different animals.
Wolves are different.
So anyway,
animals.
we'll do this again. Actually, I have 2 more otome coming out the next couple months, so
we'll be back with our otome minutes.
Mm-hmm. But until then, I guess I get to relax for a minute.
You do.
Sort of. I have to still grade, but
that's nothing compared to dissertation.
Yeah, no kidding. I got to play an otome.
You did.
Now to go back and try and get that last blade in Xenoblade 2.
Oh boy.
Yep.
It's a never-ending quest.
If anybody's curious, I'm nearing 300 hours in Xenoblade 2. Just as a side note.
Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Anyways, that's going to do it for this episode. Ow.
Ow.
Just jammed my thumb right into my desk.
Yikes.
If you would like more from us, go to seasonlanguagecheckup.com or sac.cool, where you can find past episodes of this podcast. There's a lot of otome on there.
Mm-hmm.
And you can find stuff like the Season Language Checkup and Jared and I Watch Sailor Moon Crystal podcast as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there's columns and reviews up on the site as well. You can go read my latest article for Crunchyroll. It'll probably be up by this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's about Persona 5.
You're writing it, so you know what it's about.
That's exactly what I was like. Wait, why am I saying I think? You can find more from Al at AnneLadyem.com. She has columns and reviews on her site as well, like her dissertation video, and she has a new piece as well.
I did. I actually wrote something that wasn't my dissertation.
You did.
But yeah, my dissertation defense is up, and I just wrote a revisited review of Ready Player One.
Because it's a bad book.
It is a bad book, and people should know it's a bad book.
Mm-hmm.
So.
There you go. You can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/animecheckup. That's where we do Twitter. And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/SICOVA. If you want to give us a book.
Yay.
Next week will be something.
Mm-hmm.
We'll figure it out.
I don't know what yet.
We'll figure it out.
I have more free time, so maybe we'll come up with something. We will see, and eventually, I will fall into the pits of Hyrule Warriors. So
True.
We'll have to come up with some things.
We'll figure it out, though. It's what we do.
Yeah. We did it.
We did it. All right. Tune in next time for something cool.